All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we want to thank you for being here. This is our first edition of Stories of the Bunkhouse with a live studio audience. Can we just have a moment just to take it in?
Wow. Stop.
You've left what you know, and now you're going into a completely different environment with people that you don't know.
Most people in Texas don't sleep on the ground.
So what was that like?
It's an incredibly sort of intimidating place. The Four Sixes is a massive, real, working ranch in West Texas. So in a lot of ways, it's the kind of real-life version of the Yellowstone. As intimidating as it is to show up to work on the Yellowstone and be surrounded by cowboys, incredibly competent sort of horse trainers and wranglers, on the Four Sixes, it's a little bit like ramped up even further because all those guys are real cowboys who do this for real day in and day out.
So would you say that leaving the Dutton ranch, like with us as wranglers and going to the Four Sixes would be like an upgrade or like a downgrade as far as like quality of horsemanship?
You guys are incredible actors. Amazing actors, incredibly gifted. It's such a joy every day. I learn so much from you as actors. Those guys are like real cowboys, you know? And we have, I mean, there's incredible wranglers back at the Yellowstone too, obviously, the people who have taught me sort of everything that got me up to this point.
Excluding Ian and myself.
Yeah, except for you guys. You guys are jokes.
How long a ride is it? Oh, through 2 pastures, 10,000 acres each. Just 2 though.
For them, it's just second nature. They like breathe it
The same way that you use Instagram.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly, my kind of intuitive understanding of the Instagram platform.
You're not a cowboy.
I could still make a business out of this place for you, Daddy. Just don't come bitching to me when there's 300 people in that arena for a wedding.
I guess we have a new business venture.
Okay.
And we need to hash it out.
Yeah, and I love to, because we have like our live studio audience, to throw out numbers as well. All right, let's go for our edition of Bethonomics. Woo! The problem with the ranch is that they're running at a deficit. What do you think that the ranch is losing a month?
$100,000.
$100,000 a month. What every great business does when they're losing money is they have to pivot.
Weddings?
No weddings.
All right, they want to do a hayride
Hay rides at a wedding?
and an off-trail experience. What's that gonna cost?
So
what can we get for that?
Before we get there, we have to say rent, location.
I'm just offering the ranch. If they want the ranch experience, price doubles.
We can do a package. We should only do 3 nights. So let's do day 1. They just want to come in and rent the location. What do you think is a fair price for that location?
$10,000.
10,000. What would you say?
I agree.
2 days. So that means they want to have a reception, they want to have a dinner, they want to have some
So you
music.
need food.
We can also probably have Walker comes in, Ryan Bingham comes in, plays a little bit. What does something like that cost for the 2 days?
Do you mean, are they gonna stay in the lodge?
They're gonna stay in the lodge.
So like a hotel?
It's a whole experience.
For the whole thing for 2 nights?
Yeah.
And plus food?
Yeah.
And entertainment. 25,000.
Let's just bump it up a little
like
bit.
it.
30K.
I like 30 even better.
Okay.
You like 30
Day
even better?
3, horse riding. The kids are riding the ponies. We got to ship ponies in. 3 days of food. So what was that? That's 30,000. Walker entertains for 2 nights.
75.
75. I think that's a great number.
That's for
I like
your-
where your head is. Already, if we just continue to sell the 3-day package with the full experience, already we can make up almost all of it.
2 a month.
And we haven't even done anything yet. So this is just rent location. What's next?
We're DJing. You getting a DJ. They're getting a DJ. Like Teeter's DJing.
Great.
don't think
Let's
so?
go with that.
Sunbathe!
Have you ever planned a wedding before, Denim?
Food, no. Food. Food. music. We have to get to 300, so that's 50 people.
Yeah, so we're at
That's 75.
$450,000.
So essentially, we're going for the whole deficit. We're just gonna clean all of it up in one go.
Times 4.
Okay.
What if the guests are asking for a mock fight between Rip and Lloyd?
Great, I love
with
that. I
Just
like
a
where
little bit of blood.
See, I like where their heads
Kind
are
of
at.
a medieval times
these are
atmosphere.
So in
Exactly,
business,
theatrics.
this is what you call add-ons.
Dinner and
right?
show.
$300 a person.
Okay.
This is special. Not everybody from there is going to be able to
You
afford
get a
it.
wristband.
Yeah, you
and
get a
you
wristband.
can go over
to
into
come
the
to
barn.
thing. Then what we also are going to add is another. It's called a night in the bunkhouse. Okay.
I
First of
love
all,
where your
relax.
head's at.
What are we gonna do? Poker, music,
Yep.
Xbox,
And then lights out.
teeter DJing. Right, we got DJs. Okay, a whole night of fun.
Yeah.
Fun at the bunkhouse.
You're saving money if you do
I'm
that.
thinking about a fair 300 across the board. So we clearly hit our goal from 75 people to 50. What was that number that you said that was?
It was 450,000.
Okay, that's it. 4 weddings yearly. We like to thank everyone for our second edition, but our first edition of the live studio audience of Bethonomics.
You're done with that, start moving them panels into the arena.
Rip has kicked Lloyd's ass big time and shamed him in front of everyone, which is worse. But he's got to be the best man in his wedding. What would you do in that situation if you had to kick your best man's ass on principle?
So I'm low man now for doing something you would have done.
That dynamic between Rip and Lloyd, I think that it bothers Rip because it's like Lloyd is also the one person that Rip can go to and like talk to about everything. And I think that really hurt Rip to have to like shame him in front of everyone. But I also feel like Rip is the type of person that can do that and then afterwards go outside and have a beer with you. So if I was Lloyd, I mean, I definitely am still showing up to the wedding.
Lloyd wouldn't miss that wedding for the world.
No.
It's funny because I've had to beat you guys up so many times, even though I've easily bested both of you in physical feats before. That doesn't mean that we can't still come around here. You guys can't still look at me not as your better, your physical, like kind of stronger athlete,
Yeah.
but also
Who-
as your friend.
Who we
Our
necessarily
contemporary.
yeah,
Exactly.
who we go to for athletic and physical advice.
Exactly.
Almost as like a baby would to a mother that needs milk.
I'm kind of like your mom in so many ways.
Yeah, that's tough for us.
Take that boy and show him how to saddle a horse.
You guys know how to saddle a horse?
Yeah, of course. You know, it's not really, it's been like myth, what do you call it, mythicized.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
demyth it. It's pretty easy. Put the blanket on, put the saddle on, you connect the buckles, check, check, check. There's really not a lot to it.
Simply check, check, check.
Horn, pommel, skirt, seat, rigging.
Well, I think what it is like you see all of the like mechanisms that go on a horse, and you think that like every like button like pops off, and everything's pretty much connected. The
If I said,
bridles.
like, pull your car out of the driveway and explain all the steps, you'd be like, yeah, you just kind of do it.
You just do it.
But the stakes are high.
Yeah,
if the
if
saddle
you don't-
comes off the horse, you're in
There's
trouble.
one thing that you have to check, and that's the cinch.
If you had to phone a friend from
Like,
the
if it's
cast,
life or death.
life or death, who's going to
Like,
put the saddle on your horse? Who
Oh,
is it?
Ethan Lee.
Ethan.
And yeah, he would know the names of every individual
Yeah.
buckle loop on this one is different than this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he would, yes,
But
he
he would
tell
also
you.
be so gracious about it.
Yeah, because
you know,
Jake
like-
Green would do it real quick, but he would talk shit.
He'd give you all the, he'd give you all the
He would tell you what an
sarcastic
idiot you
things.
He's like, how the don't you know how
You're
to
like-
do this?
I'm on my goddamn good horseback.
Not hungry?
I'm intermittent fasting.
Let's talk about diets. Beth does intermittent fasting, which I think is very interesting. If John said, Jimmy, I want to come to you, I want you to create a diet for the ranch that we're all gonna be on. We're all gonna take 30 days, a 30-day Dutton diet. What would that diet consist of?
Nothing but coffee and cigarettes till noon, and then I can eat what the I want.
I mean, most of the time, Jimmy's on like a liquid diet because something is very badly broken in his body.
Okay, so you're big on smoothies. What would your menu be?
The Dutton diet would be a shot of tequila in the morning, because when you have an empty stomach, it goes right in, and the herbal, botanical notes of the medicine can go straight in, and that just opens you up. And then This is called fasting, and then you have spinach for lunch, and then you have a T-bone steak and a potato for dinner, and that's it. And that's all you need. That is intermittent fasting.
I'd like to meet the doctor who came up with that diet.
That's the problem with secrets. They don't stay secret forever.
We've continued to kind of untangle the web to figure out who ordered the hit on the Duttons in 310.
Jamie's going through the inmate's prior cellmate history, and he sees his dad's name on that list. He has put the pieces together himself.
Jamie goes in and interviews the guy in jail. I was always trying to figure out where Jamie stood on it, like how he felt about it as he was kind of untangling it. But when he finds out it was his dad, it does seem like he sincerely didn't know.
Oh my God.
You think he's complicit at all?
I personally do. Not because he intentionally wanted to do that, but I think that he just says things. And then it's like, when you pull back from it, you're like, Jamie, think about who you were talking to. You don't even really know this person.
Everything that I worked for, everything that I thought I was, I'm going to lose.
Because in a twisted way, Jamie's dad trying to do this hit on the Duttons is an act of love for Jamie.
Yeah, for his hurt.
Jamie's like, his hands are
That's what I said. It's
covered
like
in
you
blood.
didn't shoot, you didn't load the gun, but you just provided ammunition.
I was raised to run that ranch.
I remember being so like curious about Christina, about what was gonna happen with that plot line.
You have 9 months to figure out what kind of man you are.
When she came back, it was such a gratifying, like at the moment that it was most complicated for her to come back.
What could we possibly sprinkle it in to make it
Exactly.
even?
How can we make this conflict within Jamie that much more pronounced?
Right.
So it represents not only choosing between the Duttons and Randall, you know,
Right,
and
now
his
it's
dad.
my own family.